What's up, family? Trey here, and we have some new information regarding our Social Security recipients. As the economy continues to get worse and worse and the inflation continues to stay at all-time highs, our seniors and our Social Security recipients continue to be forgotten by the people who run this country. However, we do have a bit of good news in regards to the upcoming changes that will hopefully help those out in need. This will include everyone under the Social Security umbrella, SSI, SSDI, VA beneficiaries, and survivors, all of the above. I will provide this information to you in just a moment, but in the meantime, hey, you already know what to do. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel as well as hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Now let's go ahead and start with the video. And well, guys, like I said, inflation continues to get worse and worse every single day, and it looks like it's not coming down anytime soon. And according to this article, it says that inflation isn't going anywhere. History says that it could take a decade to get back down to normal. And yes, guys, as the Fed continues to raise interest rates in hopes that people will stop buying stuff, yes, guys, they are hoping that the inflation finally comes back down, which we did receive a little bit of good news for the month of October, in which the actual inflation actually dropped a few points, which was some great news, which ended up sending the stock market on a huge rally, closing around 1,200 points in just one day, which turned out to be the best day that we have had since June of 2021. But anyways, guys, like I said, inflation is not going anywhere, and the Fed continues to raise interest rates, and we'll just have to see whether or not he continues to raise interest rates at the end of this month, following sometime in December. And yes, guys, even though the stock market right now continues to boom, don't be fooled, guys, as this says that the stock rally is just temporary, but we are still in a bear market, which we all know that we are pretty much in or headed to a recession. And yes, guys, this particular recession is expected to last throughout the year of 2023. And according to previous statistics, we could come out of the recession at the end of 2003 or at the beginning of 2024. So we do have a little bit of a heavy road to follow here in the next couple of months, as well as the next year. But hopefully, guys, if you can withstand these economic times, things should get a little bit better, especially for our Social Security recipients. And also, guys, right now we are dealing with a huge cost of living crisis with the food inflation, as well as that continues to soar. And right now, just this year, guys, they are saying that next year it could surge another 19%, according to some experts. And yes, guys, a senior economist has warned that daunting food inflation could soar between 17 and 19% in 2023. And according to the Office of National Statistics, food inflation in the 12 months to September hit around 14.6%, significantly higher than overall consumer price index, or the CPI inflation, which was around 10%. But anyways, guys, hey, right now we do have a latest poll from the American people in which about 43% of those people in this new poll say that, look, they are worse now financially than they were 2 years ago, which is very crazy, guys, especially because they have received at least 3 and sometimes even 4 and 5 stimulus checks since that particular time. But because of inflation going up as much as 40% on some items, foods, as well as services, prices at the grocery stores, Americans are even worse off today than they were 2 years ago, which that was during a time when inflation was pretty much at some all-time lows. But now we are on the flip side, which now inflation is super high. And yes, guys, it says in this article that 43% of respondents say that their family's financial situation is worse than 2 years ago, as inflation remains near a 40-year high, according to a new poll by ABC. Now, the survey was released on Sunday, which indicates that a share has doubled since President Biden took office, marking the latest sign of how inflation and economic discontent has jeopardized Democrats' political chances in the upcoming midterm elections, which we do see that the Republicans were really hoping for a red wave so that they would be taking over the House and the Senate. But as we look at the current results of the midterm elections, we can see that the Democrats are continuously staying in charge of the Senate. However, it is still up in the air whether or not they will continue to hold the House, but it does look like the Republicans are pretty much in the right trajectory in taking over the House. So that does mean that Congress will potentially be split, which is sort of a good thing in regards to improving the market, especially as President Biden continues to spend more and more money, as well as trying to send billions of dollars to Ukraine over this particular war. But anyways, guys, yes, the American people are struggling, and yes, it looks like almost half of Americans are doing worse today than they were 2 years ago. But anyways, guys, hey, in regards to Social Security, hey, we do have a little bit of bad news in regards to the Republicans, which is probably why they are not doing so well right now in the midterm elections. But we do have word from the Republicans in which they are wanting to push Social Security Medicare eligibility to the age of 70 years old. Yes, guys, they want to raise this just a little bit. And I'm sure Social Security recipients are definitely not liking this particular idea, especially those individuals that are just 1 or 2 years away from entering into receiving Social Security. But it does say right here that under this particular plan developed by the Republican Study Committee, a group of conservatives in the House, senior citizens would face a 5-year delay to claim Medicare, the government health care program for seniors that currently allows people to access the program when they turn 65 years old. And the retirement age for Social Security would increase to 70 years old, compared with today's full retirement age of between 66 and 67 years old. So again, guys, if you are on Social Security or you're almost to that particular point, what do you think about this, guys? Do you think that they should go ahead and raise the age limit for those individuals that want to receive Social Security? I mean, this just pretty much means that Americans have to work an additional 4 to 5 years more than they were before, which is probably common for some people, but then again, for some other people, yes, that is not necessarily likely, considering the life expectancy in the United States today is less than it was 5 to 10 to 20 years ago, which means that people are not living as long as they were before. And that is probably because of the horrendous things that they put inside of our foods that we consume every single day. But again, guys, I don't want to get off topic, but let me know what you think about this. Do you think that this is a good idea to raise the retirement age all the way up to 70 years old? Yeah, definitely. Let me know down below in the comment section. I'm curious to see how you feel about this, whether or not you are already in Social Security or whether you are just almost to that particular point, 66 or 67 years old. Let me know, guys. In addition to that, we do have some good information in regards to Senator Joe Manchin, in which he is calling for Social Security and Medicare deal on the table right now with Congress. However, the GOP has a little bit of optimism. Yes, guys, surprisingly, Joe Manchin comments signaling support for working across the aisle on entitlement programs like our Social Security program, which is getting a warm reception from some fiscal conservatives, despite some skepticism about the chances of a bipartisan deal in the next Congress meeting. But yes, guys, Manchin is discussing where he thinks both sides could find some particular common ground in the next Congress. Manchin recently pointed out to shorting up solvency for programs like Social Security and Medicare while pressing for action on tackling the nation's climbing debt. He said in a statement that, look, if we don't look at the trust funds that are going bankrupt right now, whether they be Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, Highway, all of those ones, there are tremendous problems right now that we can all see that is in our forefront, which is we need to do something about it, he said. And Manchin's comments are a stark contrast to the recent Democratic attacks hammering GOP proposals for Social Security and Medicare in the final campaign stretch before the midterm elections. And this is just a shift that has drawn some early positive reaction from the Republicans, in which they are calling out they want to raise the limit to 70 years old. And look, another Republican said that, look, I'm gladly to welcome any Democrat who puts aside partisan fear-mongering to work with us to ensure that Medicare and Social Security return to solvency. But Representative Kevin Hern, the head of Conservative Republican Study Committee's Budget and Spending Task Force, told The Hill on this past Monday. And yes, guys, this is some good news because Senator Joe Manchin has pretty much always sided with the Republicans, but now it looks like he is siding more with the Democrats, in which he is calling calling for to fix the solvency problem with the Social Security program. We all know that this particular program is expected to become solvency in around the year of 2032 and 2033. However, if they do make some changes this year or even next year, we could improve that solvency year to be another 10 to 15 to 20 years later, which is a good thing, guys. We do not need to allow the Social Security program to become insolvent. Regardless, guys, we need to keep this thing going on for years and years to come, because many Americans, millions of Americans, continue to pour money into the Social Security program, which means that they are expecting to retire at 67 or 66 years old and to receive Social Security benefits throughout their time here on Earth. So again, guys, Joe Manchin is calling for this particular Social Security reform to happen very soon, in which this could be a very good thing for our seniors as well as our Social Security recipients. And in addition to that, guys, hey, Washington is also trying to make two particular changes to the Social Security program, in which these could really help out a lot. Let me go ahead and tell you about them, guys. Yes, the first particular change that they are trying to make with Social Security is they are trying to increase the Social Security payroll tax. Right now, there is a current law limits the amount that income gets charged from individuals that go to a regular job every single week and every single month, in which they are only taxed on up to $147,000 according to the year of 2022, which means that if you make $130,000, you will continue to pay the full amount of Social Security payroll tax from your monthly check. However, if you make more than $147,000 per se, let's say you make $165,000 per year, you will only have to pay Social Security payroll taxes on up to the first $147,000, which is the main reason why this particular program doesn't have enough money put into the program. And so Washington right now, as well as Congress, as well as other lawmakers, are trying to change that. They want to change this to increase the amount from $147,000 all the way up to $400,000, which means now for those individuals that make up to $400,000, you will continue to pay a bigger amount in Social Security payroll taxes than you did before, if they are able to pass this particular one change with the Social Security program. This is some huge news, guys, and I agree with this. I do believe this. However, I do believe that it should be more than $400,000. However, the Democrats are pretty much skating a very thin line, in which they don't want to go too high because they really want this thing to pass. And also, guys, the second change that they are trying to make with the Social Security program is that they are trying to change the way the particular limits, the cost of living adjustment, is actually calculated. Right now, currently, they are using the CPI-W in order to determine how much the current cost of living adjustment should be for the upcoming year, in which that could be a very huge problematic issue that they have seen over several years, in which they are trying to make that change right now. And yes, guys, the reason for that is because spending patterns for workers and different things like that, those things tend to continue to change year over year, in which if you're using that particular calculation to determine whether or not how much our Social Security recipients receive every single year, that thing continues to change, which is why we are only seeing a 8.7% increase in our Social Security benefits as of today. However, we do know in regards to the way inflation is going right now, that number should be much higher, in which if they do make this particular change, it's going to use the new rate, which is using the CPI-E, which is going to be based on the amount of people ages 62 and older. They're going to be using their particular data in reference to their particular spending in order to determine what the cost of living adjustment should be. And I agree with this, guys. I believe this. They need to be using the numbers that is specifically related to our seniors and our Social Security recipients, because that is more of a true number in regards to determine how much the cost of living adjustment needs to be. So those are the two particular changes that they are trying to make in Washington right now with the Social Security program. And hopefully they will actually make that happen, guys. This is some huge news. And also, guys, just to remind you guys that previously Senators Bernie Sanders and Senators Elizabeth Warren continue to push for their particular program, which is going to provide an increase in benefits as much as $2,400 per year, which is what our Social Security recipients actually need, as well as their particular program will also increase the solvency issue all the way up to the year of 2096. That is going to increase it by as much as 75 years in addition to what we already have. So that is also on the table right now, guys. This particular deal that is pushed by Sanders and Warren is still on the table, in which lawmakers and Congress, and as well as all of the other individuals, are continuing to fight for this particular bill to be passed in Congress. And hopefully it does get bipartisan support, guys. But also, guys, I do want to remind you guys that a little remark from President Biden, in which he said that one of his main efforts right now as president before he leaves office at any particular time is to, number one, he wants to protect the Social Security program. Number two, he wants to lower the cost of Medicare, as well as number three, he wants to lower the prescription drug costs in this country, which I will say that we have seen some of the prescription drug prices continue to drop over the last 3 to 6 months or so. And yes, guys, these are the three particular things that President Biden said that he is going to do everything in his power to correct while he is in office. And also, guys, one of the other things that President Biden talked about on this website of the White House, he talks about how he wants to make sure that our seniors, our Social Security recipients, SSI, SSDI, and all of the above continue to receive an additional $200 per month in their benefits. Yes, guys, this is pretty much in line with the previous bill that I talked about, where Bernie Sanders as well as Elizabeth Warren is pushing for that $2,400 per year increase. Yes, guys, that is exactly what President Biden is also talking about, which equates to an additional $200 per month for our Social Security recipients. And as you can see right here, guys, on the screen, he says that, look, we want to do something about it. Too many people have been paying too much money for different things in this country, cost of living, as well as our food, grocery deliveries, as well as services. And yes, guys, our Social Security recipients deserve much more. So again, guys, like I said, we have some huge changes that are coming up very soon, and hopefully we can get some type of traction with Senator Joe Manchin or Senator Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, as well as from the president himself, in regards to increasing the benefits for our Social Security recipients as well as our seniors. They are the most vulnerable in this country right now, and we need to make sure that this Social Security program stays intact for years and years to come. If you agree with this, let me know down below in the comment section, guys. But anyways, guys, hey, I hope all this information in this video was helpful to you today. Well, anyways, guys, hey, that's all I have for you today. But feel free to check out some of the items down below, because it is a way for you to support this channel and all the work that I do, as well as it includes some links to offer you some free money, as well as some free cash, as well as how you can receive 12 free stocks with Webull by just depositing just $1. And that could be worth up to $3,000. But anyways, guys, hey, if you enjoyed today's content and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like today's video, then go ahead and hit the like button for us. It really helps out this channel, as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.